Hey, good evening, everybody. Well, afternoon, everybody. So, I'm reading this book. It's called Finance for the People. And I just got it. I feel like it really does give you the root of the problem of how to deal with your finances and help you kind of get a better idea and to empower yourself because I think a lot of people have not talked about this part. I know I feel this in my heart, but I have not ever talked about how I felt about my finances. Honestly, I haven't even talked about it too much. But there are questions in the book that really give you a good idea. People talk about being wealthy. People talk about how they create money online nowadays. But the root of the problem as to why people are not always getting what they want coming from their finances is because they don't really talk about what has happened to them, especially for people who've grown up in poverty. Okay. So, the stepping part of this book is spending time, whether it be an hour, 2 hours, and just really jotting down how you feel about your current finances. Another thing that I felt like was really helpful that she had said in this book is the fact that she said that when you are dealing with, past traumas or your family is always stressed out about finances, this could kill off your finances. Not to mention if you've ever witnessed things when you've been living in poverty. I grew up in a very small town, and my family never got a lot. As we got older, my siblings and I were younger. We had to, we never had enough. That was one thing. The second thing is living in the area that I did live in. I saw a lot of, I remember having burglaries. I remember, and still dealing with this now. But when you're seeing poverty, it makes you feel very burdened. It makes you feel overwhelmed. And I know that's the reason why a lot of people, partially in New Orleans, they have left here because there was just so much crime, and people saw things that they didn't want to see after Hurricane Katrina. So I did understand that. I actually talked to Uber drivers about that pretty recently, and I told him about New Orleans and all that. But that the city is fine, but the people are very rushed. This is a city area, of course. And again, going back to what I was saying about childhood, okay? If you grow up in a childhood where you can talk about money openly, then you're more free to having that type of energy to talk about the things that you may need, the things that you really want and desire. Our kids deserve a great home. We deserve, our kids deserve the best and things. And so, like I said, growing up, poverty was hard. I saw my friends, I remember one time it was Christmas, some kind of holiday, but my friend had actually bought some clothes at American Eagle, And back then, American Eagle was really a good name brand. Like she went out here, I don't know, she bought clothes or something like that. And I remember I did my very best to go out and buy like gifts for my friends. My closest friends, I bought them like Bath and Body Works stuff because I was just so into Bath and Body Works back then. I still am, but um, I used to go out to the store, get my friends, all my closest friends, Anna, Carly. I used to buy them like, Bath and Body Works, and that was my whole thing. I was like, let me go ahead because they were my closest friends, so I went out, bought them stuff, and I was really happy that I did that. But in the end, going back, when you are living in that poverty mindset, that scarcity mindset, and as you get older, your your ideas of money can still kind of, especially if you stressed out about it, you talked about it, you argued about it, that energy level is going to stay there. So breaking that cycle means that going to therapy sessions, talking about it, so that you can get down to the root of the problem. Because finances is not just buying things and saving up for things and things like that. It's all when I'm reading this, it's all a cognitive behavioral type of thing. And if you have mental illness and you constantly stress out and this and that, it just makes you want, it makes you kind of contemplate about, excuse me, about how you're going to deal with this. Yeah, I've been sick half the week. But anyway, so when you really think about that, it makes you kind of, you know, if if you grew up in that type of atmosphere, it's harder for people to break that doubtfulness, as they call it. And as a Christian, we are taught to trust in God. But again, it's hard to see, and for some people, it's harder to take action because of that fear that, hey, something may happen where it's not enough, they can't deal without. So it's much easier if you have somebody who guides you instead of doing it all on your own. And I know personally, I would like to have a mentor. I would like to have, therapists that, kind of walk me through this whole process of dealing with this kind of stuff. Because, like I said, this is not easy. This is one of those things. These are addressing what has magnified in your brain. And for some people, this could last for years. I mean, if you're not really getting any kind of help from anybody, then yeah, it will magnify for a long, long time. So this is why I'm kind of like, after reading this book, I'm gonna be on chapter 2, but once I get a hold of more of the grasp of why this book was written, of course, and I think this is great stuff for people because, again, we have been wired to thinking things, especially if you grew up in a traumatic home. Okay, if you grew up around people who've done drugs, alcohol, substance abuse, these things can filter inside your mind, and it can make you feel shameful. There's shame behind it. So we want to get a grasp. I like being able to get grasp of why this is happening, how this is happening, so it doesn't continually keep going on. And so that's the biggest thing that I feel is important for people who are coping and dealing with this kind of stuff, because it's not just one person who's dealing with this. This is a lot of people, and you wonder why people are not getting anywhere because they're not getting to the root of the real problem. So the solution is better. And who better off to know more about your finances more than you, so that you can have a better outlook. But anyways, yeah, when I get down to chapter 2 and 3, I will make another video about it. And but like I said, I hope this addresses a lot of people's concerns. And maybe you may even have the same story. You might have one of the same stories that somebody else may have, and that could help that other person. So, anyways, and I'm always about sharing, and I think it's important to share your beliefs about stuff so that you can help that other person. So that's all how this is made up to be. But anyways, yeah, check this book out. You will not regret it. It's a very good book. She has written this book, and like I said, it's called Finances for the People, and it's called Getting a Grip of Your Finances.